All right, so you know how much we love a good deep dive, and this time we are headed straight to the heart of German wine country.
Hmm.
You guys sent in some incredible excerpts from Viños de Alemania. Seriously, good picks. And I gotta say, I was immediately hooked by, well, the unexpected, you know?
Yeah,
We
definitely.
always hear about Riesling, right? Like, that's the German wine. But this source is like, hold my Riesling, there's a whole lot more going on here.
It's true. It's true.
And I think for me, that's what sparked this whole deep dive, like peeling back the label and really getting into what makes German wine so special.
I am so ready for this. I've been excited to really dig into this.
Okay, so where do we even begin? I mean, I was blown away just by the fact that Germany is, get this, the 10th largest wine producer globally.
Wow.
10th. Who knew?
Yeah, that's impressive.
Right. So clearly there's more to this story than just a few bottles of sweet Riesling. And speaking of, let's talk about those other grapes, because I felt like this source was basically a treasure map leading to, like, a secret society of German grapes.
Uh-huh.
Pinot Noir, Müller-Thurgau, Sylvaner even, and I hope I'm saying this right, Gewürztraminer.
Yeah, you got it.
Like, what? I need to try all of
You
these.
do, you do. And, that's the beauty of German wine is each of these grapes, they bring their own little something to the table. They're shaped by the land, the terroir. It's pretty fascinating.
Right. Okay, so, like, with Pinot Noir, I was thinking of, like, Burgundy, that's classic Pinot Noir.
Yeah, definitely.
But the source was talking about how in Germany, particularly in the Baden region, oh, side note, I now want to visit the Baden region, they have these volcanic soils and a slightly warmer climate.
It's gorgeous there.
See, and that totally changes the game for the Pinot Noir. Like, it brings out this elegance and complexity that you don't necessarily get from other regions.
Right. And, it's like the grape itself is expressing itself in a whole new way. And it's really cool to see.
Okay, mind officially blown. Volcanic soil. Who knew? See, this is what I love about these deep dives. But let's talk about those picture-perfect vineyards, because we can't talk about German wine without those rolling hills and those vines just, like, cascading down to the rivers.
Absolutely. It's iconic imagery for a reason.
Right. But those rivers, the Rhine and the Moselle, they're not just there for the postcard, are they?
No, not at all. They're like, they're influencing the climate in these tiny little pockets of vineyards.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So you could have two vineyards right next to each other. But because of how the river is like influencing the airflow, the temperature,
Wow.
the grapes end up developing totally distinct flavors.
Oh, that's so cool. It's like those rivers are conducting a symphony of flavors.
Exactly. And that's why you see such a diverse range of styles, even within a single grape variety. You can have dry, mineral-driven wines or, luscious late harvest dessert wines. It's really quite something.
Which makes me think we need to talk about the German wine classification system.
Oh, yes, that's a big one.
Because as much as I love exploring and trying new wines, I'll admit the classification system has always intimidated me a little bit.
I get it. All those words, it can feel a bit overwhelming, right?
Right, exactly. But the source actually did a good job of breaking it down and kind of demystifying it.
It's true. It is very logical once you get past the initial, maybe fear factor.
Right. So walk me through it. Like, what are the essential things we need to know to, like, decode the German wine label and not be intimidated?
Okay, so for me, it's always those like Qualitätswein and Qualitätswein. Those words just trip me up every time.
I know, right? They sound very serious.
They do. Like I should be wearing a monocle to even say them.
Well, imagine this, right? You're holding a bottle of German wine. The classification is basically telling you how fancy, how special this wine is.
Okay, got it.
So you've got your everyday table wines at the bottom, your
The
Tafelwein.
casual sippers. Exactly. Then you step up to Qualitätswein. That means the grapes, they come from a specific designated region.
So you're getting a sense of place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like terroir in a bottle.
I like it.
And then at the top of the pyramid, the creme de la creme, you have Predikatswein,
Predikatswein, top tier. Got it.
the best of the best.
Okay, but what makes these wines so special? Like, is it all about sweetness, like I always thought?
Well, it's more about ripeness, really.
Ripeness, okay.
So how much sunshine those grapes soaked up on the vine?
Mm-hmm.
And within Predikatswein, you've got these fantastic names that tell you exactly what to expect.
Oh, I like that. Give me some examples.
All right, so you've got Cabernet. These are lighter bodied, often with a really nice crisp acidity. Or Spätlese, which means late harvest. So those grapes, they hung out on the vines a bit longer, got a little extra love from the sun.
I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
And then, of course, there's the king of them all.
Don't tell me. Trockenbarossa?
Trockenbeer-no-Slays.
I was close.
You're close.
Yeah, I mean, I can barely pronounce it, let alone imagine what it tastes like.
Oh, it's an experience.
I bet it is.
Imagine grapes that have been kissed by this magical fungus called botrytis.
Fungus. Okay, not what I was expecting.
I know, it sounds weird, but it concentrates the sugars, the flavors.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Creating these intensely sweet honeyed wines. It's like dessert in a glass.
See, this is what I love. Those, like, intimidating terms are suddenly painting these vivid pictures in my mind.
I know, right?
But let's be real, right? When we're at the wine shop, especially, here in Brazil, it's easy to get overwhelmed.
Oh, totally.
So do you think the average wine drinker here is like, I need a Trockenbeer now, sleaze? Or are German wines facing an uphill battle?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And the source actually dives into that a bit, the challenges and opportunities for German wines on the global stage.
Okay, good, because I'm really curious. So spill the tea. What are the biggest hurdles?
Well, for one, competition is fierce out there. Wines from all over the world are vying for attention.
True.
And then there's the perception hurdle,
What
right?
do you mean?
Well, some consumers still associate German wines with just sweetness,
Ah, okay.
which, as we've learned, isn't always the case at all.
Right, exactly. It's a much broader spectrum.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's the whole distribution and marketing game, especially in a market like Brazil, getting those bottles on shelves into people's glasses. It's not easy.
No, I imagine not. But speaking of marketing, the source mentioned some pretty cool strategies.
It did. One that really stood out to me was collaboration.
Collaboration, like with who?
So German winemakers are getting savvy about partnering with sommelier, with restaurants, those tastemakers who can really influence what people are drinking.
That's smart.
Imagine going to your favorite restaurant and seeing a German wine highlighted on the menu, maybe even paired with a local Brazilian dish.
Oh, that's brilliant. It's like this beautiful bridge between cultures, right?
Exactly.
One delicious pairing at a time.
I love that. And then, of course, there's the whole world of digital marketing.
Right, reaching those new audiences online.
Exactly. Telling the stories behind the wines, showcasing those incredible landscapes where these grapes are grown. It's about creating a connection and experience that goes beyond just the bottle.
Because who wouldn't be intrigued by, like, a story about a 10th generation winemaking family tending to their vineyards on the banks of the Moselle?
I know, right? It practically writes itself, the Instagram caption.
Exactly. It's all about capturing that magic and sharing it.
Absolutely. But, maybe the most crucial element, and the source really emphasizes this, is education.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so knowledge is power, even when it comes to wine.
Think about it, right?
Yeah.
Once you understand the basics of the classification system, the nuances of the different grape varieties, the influence of terroir, choosing a German wine, it becomes less about intimidation and more about exploration discovery.
I love that.
It's true.
It's like that aha moment where you realize, like, oh, I can do this. I can navigate this wine list. I can order something new and exciting. And speaking of new and exciting, can we talk about the Peewee varieties section?
Yeah.
Because that, to me, was, like, mind-blowing.
It's pretty wild, isn't it? That's like the future of wine.
It really is. So for those who haven't had a chance to dive into the source yet, what are Peewee varieties?
So German winemakers, they're facing the realities of climate change head on.
Right.
And one of their solutions is breeding these new grape varieties
Wow.
that are not only resistant to disease, but can also adapt to warmer temperatures and changing weather patterns.
Hold on, wait. Disease-resistant and adaptable, these grapes are like the superheroes of the vineyard.
I know, right? They're incredible.
So tell me more about these Peewee varieties. What's the story there?
So Peewee is short for, are you ready for this? Pils-Weiterstandsfähig.
See, I'm never going to be able to pronounce that.
I know, it's a mouthful.
But that basically means...
It means resistant to fungal diseases.
Which is huge because it means less need for pesticides and treatments.
Exactly.
Which is better for the environment, better for the grapes, better for us.
It's a win-win all around.
I love it. Okay, so they're eco-warriors, they're adaptable, but how do they taste? That's the big question.
Right. Well, that's the exciting part.
Okay. Tell me more.
We're talking about varieties like Bacchus.
Bacchus, okay.
Yeah, it's got this lovely, like, aromatic profile, almost like a floral Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Then there's Regent, which can produce these really deep, rich reds.
Okay, nice.
And then Solaris, which thrives in cooler climates and can make these wonderfully crisp, fruity whites. So really something for everyone.
See, now I'm adding all of these to my wines to try list. This is dangerous, but in a good way.
I know, right? It's like opening up this whole new world of wine.
It really is. But before we wrap up, we have to talk about something a little more, shall we say, cosmic. Because the source mentioned biodynamic viticulture, and I have to admit, that's a new one for me.
Yeah, it's definitely a different approach.
So break it down for us. What is biodynamic viticulture?
So imagine a vineyard that operates in complete harmony with nature.
Okay.
The cycles of the moon, the rhythms of the earth, even like the influence of the planets. It's pretty fascinating.
Okay, so it's like organic, but like 2.0.
You could say that.
Yeah, with a little bit of astrology thrown in.
A little bit, yeah. But at its core, biodynamic viticulture is about recognizing the interconnectedness of everything,
Okay, I like that.
the health of the soil, the biodiversity of the vineyard, the way the vines interact with their environment. It all plays a role in that final product.
Fascinating. So are they saying that these biodynamic wines, like, taste different?
Well, there's a growing belief that this holistic approach, it results in wines that are not only expressive of their terroir, but they also possess a certain, like, vitality.
A vitality that you can taste.
Exactly. And it's definitely resonating with, a new generation of wine drinkers who are looking for something more than just a beverage, right?
Yeah.
They want that connection to the land, that respect for tradition, and, a sense of responsibility towards the planet.
It's like those values are bottled up right alongside the grapes.
Exactly. Exactly. It's about the whole package.
I love that. And, I think that's the perfect note to end on because whether you're a seasoned sommelier or just starting to explore the world of wine, what we've uncovered today is that German wines, they offer something truly special.
Absolutely.
There's this incredible dedication to both tradition and innovation. These unexpected grape varieties that are just waiting to be discovered.
Waiting to be discovered.
And these stories, right, these stories that are etched into every bottle.
It's true. Every bottle has a story to tell.
It really does.
Yeah.
So next time you're at the wine shop, don't let those German labels intimidate you.
No, embrace them.
Embrace them.
Yeah.
Because you are not just choosing a wine, you are choosing an experience.
Perfectly said.
An experience that connects you to a rich history, to a land of diverse terroir, and to these passionate winemakers who are like pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So here's to embracing the unexpected, to swirling and sipping with a sense of adventure, and to discovering all the magic that awaits within every glass of German wine.
Cheering to that.